All right, gamers, it's been a while since I uploaded the Reddit stuff and the hot takes on this channel, but I'm going to be back on regular content schedule, and I need fresh hot takes. The last time we did a hot takes episode was like a month and a half ago, and they're very outdated. I need some fresh takes on the current state of the game and your opinions of the game in more recent times, whether that's, you know, Freja or Stadium or other news. Leave them in the comments, please. We got to collect them, and I'll make a video on that coming soon. But for today, I'm going to go through a couple of the main Overwatch Reddits, starting off with some news and then some discussion pieces like normal. Here we go. Okay, first big bit of news. This is actually from 5 days ago, but I just took some top posts of the week and a couple of weeks ago since I missed some episodes. Overwatch team, a dev team unionizes. So Blizzard's Overwatch team just unionized. What I want to protect here is most is the people, is a quote here. The wall-to-wall union of Blizzard Team 4 includes nearly 200 developers. That is an absolute W for the people. Gives them protection, job assurance, and then they won't be squeezed and work insane, inhumane hours. They're protected a little more. So this is very good, and hopefully it's conducive to a better game because people are happier. Blizzard's really making a 180, especially Overwatch specifically. I don't want to say all of Blizzard and Activision Blizzard. I took a peep at Diablo 4 the other day. Not too hot. But at least with Overwatch, they're turning things around. Good update after good update. Team unionizing. People are happier, and it's, you know, you're not going to be shamed for like suddenly wanting to apply and work for Activision Blizzard, especially, you know, in the aftermath of Bobby Kotick leaving and other stuff. Not 100% clean, but these are all steps in the right direction. So I'm happy to see people being appreciated and better protected in this industry. So good for the industry overall. Very, very good. Next bit of news is the Overwatch and Street Fighter 6 collaboration. That's right. They have Street Fighter 6 collab skins. And if you don't know, I am a massive Street Fighter 6 fan. I played in the Sajam Slam, which is Sajam is a big content creator in the fighting game community. I played it with SK, who's also an amazing Street Fighter player. She's a jury player. I'm an E-Honda player. We went to Japan and competed a couple of months ago. We can cue a little clip of the intro there.
KarQ! Oh man, is he gonna Honda headbutt onto the stage? Imagine. I like that.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
I like that.
But in any case, I'm very happy with the skins. This is their biggest collab because I think there's like what 7 or 8 skins in this group. I normally am pretty indifferent on these like skin collabs because I'm not really a big skin guy. But I am disappointed there's no E-Honda because I am an unethical E-Honda player, and I would have been down to start playing some Roadhog and Mauga, who I think would have been a pretty good representative of a Honda skin. But in any case, we got Juno Chun-Li over here. We got Cammy Widowmaker, okay? And I was surprised they picked this outfit. Next, we got Hanzo as Ryu. We, of course, got Kiriko as Juri. We have Soldier 76 as Guile, Dalsim as Zenyatta, and Winston as Blanca. And honestly, Sigma as M. Bison. That one is awesome as well. Very cool collab. I'm down for this. Happy that this is happening for the game, with an actual game that I play for once. What's this post here? This was from 2 days ago, 2,000 upvotes. Will this area ever be used? I believe there are other areas and other maps that are unused as well. It's just like this one's been sitting there for a while, and the only one used was King's Road during the PvE event. Credit to this user over here. So we're on Rialto over here, and I think I know where this is because I've actually used this section for a video before. The area got used for one of my videos. It was called like one map jump, I think, for every map or something like that. And I just had some B-roll back here. But yes, if you hop through the other side of Rialto, there's this whole unused area that was probably, you know, sectioned off for maybe parts of PvE and whatnot. It looked like they put a bit of dev work here. There's like actual pathways and like meaningful doorways and kind of angles. So maybe it would have been part of PvE, maybe another arcade custom mode, but they kept it in like the map assets. So you can go into a custom game and just fly around and get to these sections. But I don't think this will be used anytime soon or at all because like, I don't know, it's just been sitting there for so long. This is not the only map that's had it. I think Volskaya had another extra section as well. And I think if we scroll the comments, some people mentioned it. Yeah, Havana, Kings Row, Rialto, and an unfinished Eichenwald one was always there since Overwatch 2's launch. So this has been here for years. Using the workshop, we can see some geometry finish. They could be nice for deathmatch, but I don't think they're planning anything. Actually, the part of Havana does get used in custom games. There's like a Widow headshot only mode that specifically uses an off section of Havana for a flat area, which is kind of cool. I don't think it's going to be used officially, but if you want to do some more tweaks in the workshop and make use of it, be my guest. Next post, insane Mauga spots. Wow, Mauga spots out of all heroes. What do we got over here? Oh, high ground access on this part of Rialto. That's pretty sick. So you got to stand on the left part of the bridge, start the animation on the lamppost, and use that to propel yourself. That's awesome. This one goes to the high ground. I've seen this one actually. Oh wait, I've not seen this part where you use the carried momentum to go. Oh wow. Oh my. Guys, I don't know if I would advise you guys trying this in game. This one's a bit safer because it's high to low, but the other one might You would need to practice these. Okay, High Ground King's Row, no way. Okay, from here to here, okay, that makes sense. It's a bit of a setup though. Okay, this one I know of because you can do this on a couple of other heroes as well. So this one intuitively made sense. Oh, going across though, that's kind of cool. Didn't think of that one though. Dude, this person's name is OW Spot. And they're just shopping, cooking up some crazy spots. I say shopping, workshopping some crazy spots. That one is sick. Hold up. Playing Mauga on Junkertown, hopping up here, going off the roof to hit the sniper perch. That is sick. Shout outs to you. That is really cool. Good spots. All right, I found this post. Wasn't actually updated or upvoted very much. Didn't get too much discussion, but I wanted to kind of talk about Stadium. So I just kind of found this post to kind of like start off the discussion here. So how do we feel about Stadium now it's been out for some time? Was it worth the hype? Are you still playing it? This post, this user said, today I returned to playing comp after playing Stadium non-stop since it first came out. Here are my thoughts. I enjoyed third person since I could admire my hero and skin. However, I could no longer do the same for weapon skins. And number 2, queue times are horrendous, 10 to 15 minutes for all or most roles. The announcer gimmick became annoying after a while and there should be a way to turn it off. Number 4, it feels overly complicated and overwhelming compared to comp, and it felt nice going back to a simpler version of Overwatch. Number 4, limited hero pool in a game like Overwatch is really sad, so hopefully they can add more heroes ASAP. And number 6, how can I forget about awful matchmaking since everyone starts from the same rank? I regularly went against Diamond and Master players as a Gold Plat player and I lost probably 2/3 of my games. Very valid points. Let me kind of like piggyback off yours. So you enjoyed third person because you could admire it. For me, I actually tried it out for as long as I could, but I ended up not liking it after a while. The only heroes I play it on are like Reinhardt, because he's mostly in third person anyways. I do it on Moira because that one doesn't require much aim, but any of the less aim intensive heroes, I don't use third person. Or sorry, all the less intensive heroes, aim intensive heroes, I can use third person, but other than that, I'm back to first person on every hero. It just feels more natural. And there was actually a video by I think I saw it on YouTube where it was somebody who worked on like AIM Labs or Kovacs as a aim physicist, probably getting the title wrong, but he kind of like broke down the science behind why it feels awkward to aim in Overwatch, where you have to use more mouse distance to turn to your left than turn to your right based on the axis and angle you're looking at. All in all, it's just very awkward for aim intensive heroes. So like, I'm out of it. I'm back in first person, but I think the option to have third is a pretty good accessibility point for those who aren't like that nerdy about the competitiveness of it and just like to look at their pretty skins. So I like how it's toggleable and like you have an option to play either or. So that's cool. Now you said queue times are horrendous. Agreed. 25, 30-minute queues in support around pro, getting close to all-star. And I popped into Aspen and Frogger Stream the other day and they're at like hour-plus long queues. A little ridiculous. And the fact that they're adding quick play versions of Stadium make queue times even more horrendous when you fragment the comp competitive versus the quick play. Although if you open up crossplay, you increase the pool by quite a bit by having a lot of friends queue together. So maybe it'll self-alleviate and self-regulate itself, who knows? But for now, queue times being extremely long is very rough. I agree with this. The announcer gimmick, honestly, I don't really mind. I've tuned it out for now. I just think it's kind of funny. An amazing play by Cassidy. Oh my God. Like maybe if there's a way to kind of like go to your sound dials and like turn off the announcer, sure, for those who want it. But to me, it actually doesn't bother me, so it's whatever. Your next one, it feels overly complicated. I actually disagree. I think once you play enough Stadium, it kind of simplifies down where it's like, there are some cases where I am buying items to counter specific matchups. For example, on Junker Queen, I'll buy the item that like where if I get knocked back, I gain movement speed. When I play against Orisa or Lucio, it's an insta buy when I play Queen against that, but like it's like sitting on the bottom. There's a bunch of like base items that I've begun to memorize, which are very good. And there's actually not much to know after you played a little bit. Maybe it's because I played a lot of League in the past, League of Legends, and it's like the build system and the buy system isn't even that bad at all, but they really need to add a search function so I can search for a specific trait or stat that I want. I just want to filter ability power. I want to filter this item, maybe favorite it, or maybe have like those default items and then just literally align and section off like the hero specific items. I know they usually sit at the bottom of each hero, but like just literally like section them off. I think that would go a pretty long way. And obviously saving a build and like sharing it, that is all coming. That was teased in another article or a blog post that they had. But for now, like I don't actually think the game is that complicated. It's kind of been solved in a lot of ways. A lot of meta builds have arisen and become the main thing to play. And if you don't play it in ranked, because it's a comp only, it feels kind of bad when you don't play anything other than the meta because you just fall behind. So I think the quick play is necessary to kind of dick around and play some fun builds. Not that complicated once you know what to build almost every game, with very few exceptions. So not overwhelming, but you know, when you say it feels nice going back to a simpler version of Overwatch, I still feel that. I haven't done it yet. I think I played like 3 regular games so far, but maybe because I've been really checked out because I've kind of just been playing a lot of RuneScape. I've been so addicted that I just log in, I just play my few stadium games, my few stadium quota games for the week on stream, and then log off and go, you know, do the Coliseum and stuff on RuneScape. But I digress. Having 2 really strong versions of the game is only good for the game in the future for its longevity. You said limited hero pool. I think it's actually good they didn't introduce every hero at once. But like you said, they are adding more heroes ASAP. I think Freja is coming in the mid-season 4 stadium next week. So like that's already pretty soon. A regular influx of new heroes is good. But the limited pool does start to show its cracks once you play like 50 to 100 games of stadium. You definitely notice the 5 tanks only feels kind of bad. And I actually think they need stronger quote unquote like consumables or ways to kind of adjust on the fly. Because if you queue like Joker Queen and they have literally a Kiriko Zarya, like you are probably not going to win the game no matter how well you play. It's very hard, and they kind of need more options around it because you can't switch your heroes now. Now the last part, awful matchmaking. For me, I don't really ever look at the ranks. I know you're saying like you're going against Diamond and Masters plays as gold plat. I never check profile, so I like to go in blind and just play my best. I can notice some games where I'm clearly like MVPing and making a ton of cash, and some people aren't pulling their weight. But like matchmaking, I went in there with that expectation because again, matchmaking is kind of going to be at a disarray. Everybody starts at the same rank, but apparently Aaron Keller on socials, on Twitter or X, whatever the frick you call it these days, verified that they actually snapshotted your quick play MMR when the game came out. So it's not like retroactively, like it's not actively taking it from your quick play. So somebody, I think the other day was asking, so what if I play like 50 quick play games right now and win all of them and my quick play MMR goes up? Does that mean my stadium MMR is changing right now? It's like, no, I think when the game mode released, they kind of just use that as a very, very loose baseline, your quick play MMR. And then you would have your early games, your first 10, 20, I don't know how many games, have very wide swings because the matchmaker isn't sure where your actual skill stands. That's where you begin. That's where you start. And it's actually a good way to kind of filter out really, really poor matches. Like obviously there's going to be some really bad outlier games, but it could have been way worse if it was a true random on day one, true random matchmaking. So at least they used some frame of reference, which is actually fine. Anyways, that's my feedback and that's how I feel about Stadium. I still think it's a really good mode. A casual competitive mode is what they quote and call it, and I actually agree with that. I don't think it's going to be as good as like the true competitive nature of ranked right now, especially because we have hero bans, but like a good casual mode to kick back and play some games on. I think that's where it could be and has a place for its like individual community. Next, how many of you guys are still playing 6v6? I'm sitting here a little drunk playing ranked, accidentally clicked 6v6 after my last 5v5 game, went down to get a beer, didn't realize I was in a 6v6 lobby till I got back to my PC, which got me thinking, are people still playing 6v6 after the initial uplift of it being added? I think I played a shit ton of it on the first 2 or 3 days, but after that I actually went back to 5v5. I'll play the odd time as a warm-up when me and a buddy fancy playing double tank, but even then we only last a couple of games before we revert to 5v5. Not shitting on those who enjoy it on 6v6 or trying to turn this into an argument over which is the better format. Just curious, playing DPS or support in 6v6 can get tedious very fast. I think I played both, to be honest with you. I think I played like, when it came out last season, I definitely played it more since it was the new hot thing, but I think after I'm done with my stadium phase, I will queue both, and I think 6v6 has a healthy population. Simply because it has its role restrictions lifted, your queues will still be pretty decently fast because you don't have people locked into a specific role. Even if the overall player pool queuing into 6v6 is lower than 5v5, the match time to queue may still feel similar because you're not restricted by all those like role restraints. And a lot of people are still playing it. Like top comment is all I play is 6v6. I generally play 6v6, but again, you have to understand when you read comments like this, you have to understand the context of it. I'm literally in a competitive Overwatch subreddit. I firmly believe 5v5 is still the more popular mode overall when Blizzard looks at the numbers, but you have to remember this game is a very, also pretty casual, friendly, free-to-play game, right? You ask like your average like Joe Schmo who plays on console once a week every Friday with their friends, they might just be queuing 5v5. They don't go on social media. It's just the first mode that's like thrown in your face, so that's the main one they'll probably click. Click the quick play card, tongue twister, and that's probably what they queue up. I still play it here and there. I'm sure the people who watch videos like this are maybe a bit more competitive by nature, and you guys are probably playing 6v6, but the broader population overall is probably playing more 5v5 and or Stadium right now, is what if I had to guess. Next piece, a little bit more about Stadium. With the introduction of Stadium, detailed hero stats are a must. It's been suggested countless times, but with Stadium in the spotlight, it's more important than ever. We need access to detailed hero stats, but not with actual numbers, not vague bars. We need to view the exact damage and healing output in the practice range to test items and obscure interactions properly. I mean, I agree. Dota 2 nails this. Its UI shows base hero stats clearly. Holding Alt reveals detailed item adjusted ability numbers, meaning no guesswork. Yes, ability adjusted numbers is like so important because like if I buy ability power on Kiriko, okay? If you press like the button, it'll say, oh, it affects your protection Suzu. It just says Suzu, but like what specifically about Suzu? If I buy 20% ability power, how much does my base Suzu healing get multiplied by? Show me that. Show me that if, does the invulnerability timer have a very small multiplier as well from 0.5 seconds to 0. Do I get a 0.1 second buff, 0.2 second buff on my invulnerability because I buy ability power too? Right now it just says Suzu, so we need more details. Fully agree with this, right? Final one, Freya is starting to be an issue. Hey, like I said, I've been mostly playing Stadium. I played like 3 games of like non-Stadium this season, but I've seen this post here on the competitive Overwatch subreddit. I saw it on the main Overwatch subreddit for a bit. Freya is becoming a pretty big issue in games lately. There's a few things I've noticed that seem to be a part of it. Number 1, she's had the same issues that DPS Doomfist had with the skybox stalling, but she can do it infinitely in the right spot with her CDs or cooldowns being so low. Occasionally, my supports are getting deleted from a crazy angle from double bolt. And now her bolts. There's too much spam due to the low cooldown, too much damage for how forgiving of a shot. Hitbox it has. I feel like a revert to the cooldown and a small nerf to either the impact or explosion damage would be good. I'm hoping for a nerfs in the midseason, but I feel like she's gonna get the Sojourn treatment and devs will be afraid to nerf anything meaningful on her. You know what's funny is because like there was a hotfix patch early in the season where they buffed Freya because apparently she had like a 42% win rate, or she was like really, really bad early on. And then they kind of like over buffed her. And then you have to always remember that like as time goes on with a high skill ceiling hero like this, like players will get better over time, and people have quickly figured out, especially after the buffs, how to play her effectively. They mentioned the infinite stalling. If you guys don't know what this is, you know when you like aim down sight, kind of just pause into the air. So when you updraft, you pause and you stall, you aim in and stall again, and you buy time for your cooldowns to cycle. And then I think you get the perk to get the extra free jump or scope in as well. So you can kind of just float and get a crazy angle and just double pop somebody right now, which becomes a little obnoxious to play against. So a lot of people are saying she's an issue, and I can agree, and I can see where they're coming from, excuse me. And you know, maybe a small tweak is necessary to make her a bit more manageable for most players right now. And apparently she's being played all the time in or pick or banned in OWCS. So if that's not enough data, I don't know what is. All right, and that's it for this week's Reddit episode. Remember, post hot takes in the comments. Thank you. Need fresh ones. Goodbye. Peace.